What is up, everybody? I'm sorry, look, I forgot to do the intro, so here we are. No, I actually didn't forget. I did the intro. I deleted it. So yeah, I'm doing this afterwards. Now look, in this video, I go over my problem with the Lions currently. These are my opinions. I would love to hear your opinions in the comments, but make sure you watch the whole thing before you go in the comments and start trying to roast me. Just watch the whole thing, understand where I'm coming from, and I'll understand where you're coming from. So let's get it started. Right now, the Detroit Lions currently sit at 3-8-1, and there's a lot of sides, right? It's about pretty split, and everybody wants the same thing. We all want to win. That's what it comes down to. We all want to win football games, but it's pretty split right now. Should we keep Patricia? Should we not keep Patricia? And I know it's pretty split on the voting, whether or not it's after this year. I mean, even after this year, it's pretty split. But the reason, I'm going to give you guys my reason that I don't love Patricia right now, okay? And it's a little bit further than the record. It's not simply looking at the record and saying we're worse, because it has to be deeper than that, and it is deeper than that. This is my personal opinion. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below, but here we go. I'm going to give my opinion. We actually changed to talk about a few narratives real quick, and the first one is that, you know, we like to bring up these few coaches that had slow starts in the NFL, and then all of a sudden they had good teams, okay? And then all of a sudden they started winning games. This happens. Trust me, it happens. But I'm saying there's so many more coaches that come in, and they don't make it work, and you just don't know about those guys because they don't win, because there's so many more of those coaches. There's so many more coaches that have a slow start, and they never get it going, and then they're fired. The reason is because there's so many of those guys. We talk about the guys that are the opposite of that got it going, because everybody knows about those dudes because there's less of them. Okay, so saying that giving Patricia more years equals winning, no. But I understand giving him more than 2 years, because 2 years is not a long time. I completely understand that. But I'm just going to give my reasons why I don't love the Patricia thing. Now, let me also talk about this. Bill Belichick. A lot of people want to say that Bill Belichick, you know, he was there and he didn't have a good start to his career. You know, he didn't lead the Browns. He was bad when he first came in. But that's not true really at all, okay? If you look simply at the record, you can say, yes, they weren't a very good team. But let's dive a little bit deeper than that. When Bill Belichick started with the Cleveland Browns back in 1991, he came into a Cleveland Browns team that was 3-13. In his first season, he went 6-10. So if you simply look at the fact that he went 6-10, you would say it wasn't a very good year, just like Patricia. But it's different because he improved by 3 games. Matt Patricia took over a 9-7 team. Now I'm going to point this out, but this is not exactly what I want to look at. Not just the records. I just want to point this out quickly because I think people make to look like Bill Belichick was garbage, but he wasn't. His next year they were 7-9. Again, that's an improvement on what he came upon. 7-9, then 11-5, where they lost in the divisional round. So you can see in 4 years they made the playoffs, but the difference is in those 4 years they improved. They weren't getting worse like we are, and I'll tell you what I mean by that in a second. Then when he went to New England in his first year, he came into an 8-8 team. His first year they went 5-11. Bad year, right? Well, the very next season they go 11-5. So there you go. It took him 2 years to make that 2 playoff teams. So that's not true that they didn't improve. The difference is, if you look simply at the record, they're similar, but they improved. We are not improving. Now, the reason I don't love the whole Matt Patricia thing isn't simply because of the record, because it's simple. It's like this for me. This is how I feel, okay? Listen up. The reason that I don't like Patricia is not because we are 3-8-1. I know for a fact that we would be a better team, and we could possibly be like similar to the Bears record right now, competing a little bit for, or maybe at least in the hunt, if our offense was healthy. If we were more healthy offensively, if we had Stafford, you know, maybe we win a few of these games that we shouldn't have lost. The Dallas game, we may win that game. The Bears game, the first time, we may win that game. We may win it the second time. We probably would have won it the second time, okay? So yes, there would be more wins for the Lions if these guys maybe don't get hurt. Okay, I'll give you that. But that's the reason I'm not simply looking at the record, because if I simply say that I don't like him because we're 3-8-1, that doesn't make sense, because there are injuries, and I will give you that. But the reason I don't like Patricia is for this simple reason. Not only are we not improving on the record because of the injuries, but we're not improving in the aspect that we brought him in. When we had Jim Caldwell, this is why I don't love Jim Caldwell either. We had Jim Caldwell, and guess what? We never won a playoff game. Why? Because we weren't a very good team. We are still not a very good team. We never won a playoff game with Jim Caldwell for the simple fact we were not a good team, but yet Matthew Stafford put the team on his back. He carried them to the playoffs. And then people want to bash him for not winning a playoff game, but the fact is this: the reason he didn't win a playoff game is because his team wasn't that good. He got you there. We look at it wrong. We look at it like Stafford couldn't get it done. But it's really, in reality, the fact that this team just wasn't good enough. So maybe if Matthew Stafford is here, this 3-8 team is fighting in, who knows, maybe they even get a wild card spot, but they'll lose in the first round once again because they are not a good team. They're not a good team. They have Matthew Stafford. And when Matthew Stafford's down, we see we're not a good team. We are 0-4. But the thing that makes me mad is not that we are 3-1. What makes me mad is that we brought in Patricia and we have not improved defensively. Have there been injuries? Yes. Yes, there have been injuries. Okay, but was Matthew Stafford hurt last season? No. Now, a lot of people want to say, look, I'm not even going to count last season. You know what? Don't count last season. Let's just look at this year. Defensively, we are our worst defense ranking right now since 2002. Okay, we currently rank 29th in yards allowed per game and 25th in points allowed per game. Okay, we are terrible defensively. And yes, there are injuries defensively. I get it, but every team has injuries. Okay, our offensive side of the ball, with the injuries, currently we rank 13th in points and 9th in yards per game. With these injuries, Stafford has been out for 4 weeks. It's not like he's been out for one game. He's been out for 4 weeks, and our offense is still doing that. 4 touchdowns against the Dallas Cowboys when we lose. I'm just upset for the simple fact that we are not improving defensively. Okay, now here's another point that I want to pick out. Point differential. I'm not arguing for Jim Caldwell, okay? I'm really not. And you may be like, well, why are you not doing that? Well, because of this. Our point differential. We win games and we sneak by. Look at our last playoff appearance, 2016. How did we get in? We had 8 comebacks and we won 9 games. 8 of the 9 games we had comebacks. Why? Because we're not a good team. You know how similar that would be if we had Matthew Stafford right now? How similar this could be? Look at our losses recently. Okay, the Bears. Y'all want to say we would have won that game. Okay. You know how many of these games would have been comebacks because we're right into the very end? We just can't pull that out. The reason we don't pull it out is because we don't have Stafford there for that last urge. At least some people want to say, okay? Thing is, our offense can keep us in it. We can't pull it out because usually that would be Matthew Stafford having a game-winning drive. That's what he does. Now we're back quarterbacks, and no hate against them. We're just not able to pull them out. And right now we're 3-1. That's I'm not simply looking at the record. I'm not going to hate on him for that simply. Is it beautiful? Heck no. 3-1 is disgusting after starting off 2-1. But I get it. I'm not focusing on the record. The thing is, we don't beat teams. We don't blow out teams with Matt Patricia. We didn't blow out teams with Jim Caldwell. It didn't happen. Look at our point differential, guys. In 2016, the last time we made the playoffs, we were a minus 12 point differential. We made the playoffs in that year, and we were a minus 12 point differential because we just squeaked by. And we're doing the same thing. If Matt Patricia currently was 6-4-1 or something along those lines, I don't even know if that makes sense. Yeah, they were 6-5-1. Okay, people may look at this and be like, "Oh, Patricia doesn't deserve another year because they're improving." The thing is, we're not improving. We are just barely beating teams because that's what it would be like if Stafford was here and he was winning these games. We'd barely be beating them. We get into the playoffs and then we lose. That's why they fired Jim Caldwell. In my mind, they fired Caldwell because they knew it's not working. Okay, you have Jim Caldwell, right? Helped out with the offense. We were right there, but they realized, okay, look, we are good enough with Matthew Stafford that, he can win us these games. We just can't win a playoff game. Well, what's missing? Well, the defense. We've always been known to not have a good running game and a good defense. So we bring in Darrell Bevell. Now that'll help out a running game. Okay, defense. Let's bring in the defensive line. We brought in a guy from the Patriots that said defensive mind and Matt Patricia. Okay, but the thing is, our defense hasn't been getting better. I want to talk so much about the injuries this season, and I get it, but let's just look at our schedule for a second. Our first game is a perfect example. We led this game by 18 points late, and we tied. Why? Because we're up 24-6. That should be enough to win. But no, your defense let you down. Now, I'll give them that. Week 2, they played a pretty good game. We gave up tons of yards. But at the end, Slade made a big pick. Okay? Good adjustment. We won that game 13-10. Then look at our next week. We give up 24 points to the Eagles. These are early in the season, y'all. We're not completely injured. The Chiefs game's another great example. We should have won this game. Why didn't we? Because we couldn't finish the job, okay? The Packers game, that one was whack. The Vikings game, we should have beat the Vikings. We scored 30 points against a team at the time that was giving up 15.5 per game, and we lost by 12 because we couldn't stop them. They scored 42 points. Our defense is not improving, okay? Last year, our defense was a little bit better. Now, we had Stafford, and we went 6-10, okay? Now, last year was ugly. I mean, some people don't want to count last year because, and you know what? I won't even put last year too much against him because the fact is, last year was weird. Okay, we were doing a new defense. Stafford had his worst year of his career. But look at that. Okay, Stafford has maybe his worst year of his career in a long time, right? 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Not very beautiful. We go 6-10. Okay, he was healthy. It wasn't like he was injured. We just didn't score that much. Now, there were injuries elsewhere. But look at this. Defensively, we are bad this year. We have been bad for a while defensively. We're not good. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at these defensive rankings, okay? Let's look at how we rank in points allowed. 25th this year. Last year, 16th. Not bad. At least you're in the middle of the pack. Year before, 21st. Then 13th. Again, that was under Caldwell. Then the year before that, you're 21st, 20th, 19th. Those are not top half. That's the reason we got rid of him, because we knew our defense wasn't good enough. But it's not getting better. So I'm okay. If you want to give him another year, that's fine. You can give him another year. I get it. 2 years is not a lot. But next year, this defense has to be better. I understand there was injuries, but it is not good enough. You should not lose to the Bears both times, especially this time when you scored 20 points. You should not lose to the Bears. Okay? You should have not lost to the Dallas Cowboys. I get it. They're a good offense. They were the best offense. We should have beat the Vikings. There's so many games that our defense has let us down. So now, next year when he is here, because I don't think he's going anywhere, we need to see this defense improve significantly, or that's it. That is it. If you want to get rid of him now because of that fact, I get it. Look, y'all, I understand 2 years is not a long time and that he has to build a culture. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But if you're not showing improvement, what tells you as a Matt Patricia believer that this guy is going to lead us to wins? It's not. I know how you guys are thinking. You think it's Matt Patricia, but it's really not. It's not Matt Patricia. The reason y'all are thinking like this is because you, along with me and many other fans, are sick and tired of losing because we keep doing the same thing, right? You guys don't want to get rid of coaches. But I think just like Josh thinks, okay, I know Josh, I talked to him. It's not that he loves Patricia. It's the simple fact that he doesn't want to keep getting rid of coaches because we keep doing it. And I get it. Let's give him another year, okay? Give him another year. But if you're not improving, it doesn't matter how many. If you give a bad coach 10 years, he's going to be bad throughout the entire 10 years. Do we know if he's bad right now? I guess not. We don't know if he's good or going to be a bad coach. But what we do know is defensively, it's bad. It's really, really bad. Offense, this is a perfect example. Darrell Bevell. Has their offense had injuries? Yup. But yet he's top 10 in yards per game and he's 13th in points scored per game, with a third string quarterback and a backup quarterback for 4 games. Come on, man. Our defense is not getting better. It has to be better. Simple as that. We're losing games because our defense can't get stops. So if you want to give another year, okay. But look, you got to see improvements next season. We must see improvements defensively because it's not about the record for me. I don't care if they're 3-8-1. You know, they would be better if Stafford was here. I'll give you that. They may even squeak into the playoffs, but it's not enough. That's why they got rid of Caldwell, because it's not enough. You have to have a good team. You can't just have a good quarterback. So all the people that want to go out there and say that Stafford isn't that good, you are crazy. The only reason we are ever a contender is simply because of Stafford, and we're seeing it right now. We haven't seen it before. We're not a contender without Stafford, and yet our offense is still 9th in yards and 13th in points, and we're not a contender. Why? Because we don't have Stafford for those late game comebacks. There is no difference between this team and the 2016 team. The only difference is this. We're not getting comebacks. That's it. That's all it is. We're just not finishing off the games. We're not able to get the comebacks that Stafford usually does. We've seen it multiple times. The Dallas game, we saw it. We saw it this week against Thanksgiving. We've seen it multiple times without him. We're not getting those comebacks. Schedule gets easier, he's hurt. We're not getting the comebacks. To me, it's not about the record. It's that our defense is letting us down. And when your quarterback is down and you score 27 points, you have to win that game. Okay? You have to beat Chicago while getting some stops. I get it. Okay, it's not all his fault. Injuries happen, but it's going to happen everywhere he goes. I'm not completely against giving him another year. I'm not. I understand if you want to give him another year. But the defense must improve next season, or that's it for me, okay? That's why I'm mad. Not because of the record. That's why I'm mad. And stop with the Matthew Stafford talk. This is our guy. This is the only reason we are ever competitive. So there you go. We'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm sorry for the little rant. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. That's just my opinion. So you got your own. That's cool. And I'm out.